morning. Today what we're going to do is show you guys how to plant your nursery plants from the nursery that come in dirt into your aquaponics baskets for your towers. So we got a little head start by going and purchasing plants. We also start them from seed, and it'll take a bit of time to get them up to this speed. So if you're to this size, so if you're wanting to kind of get a jump on your growing, then you can go down, and for about $3, almost $4, I think, you get 9 nice lettuces. These happen to be romaines. So anyway, let me show you the process. Basically, what we're going to do is we salvage pretty much everything here: the dirt, the cups, the grow cups, and everything. That's up to you, but you can just kind of give them a little push and pop the plugs out, roots and all. This one's being a little stubborn, but you want to go ahead and get you a bucket. Before you get started, I should have started there. Get you a bucket to put your dirt in. Get a bucket of rinse water, and I use a secondary bucket to carry the plants in, and this actually is nutrient-rich water from my fish tank. So this is just rinse water, and I've already done a few baskets, so it's a little dirty right now. But what we're going to do is remove all the plugs first, and just gently remove the entire plug, roots and all. Just give them a little wiggle, pop them in your bucket, and they'll kind of, some of them can kind of stick together a bit because of the dead leaves. You go ahead and pop those dead leaves off if you have any. They're not going to obviously do you any good once they're transplanted anyway. So just kind of loosen them up and pop them out. And our goal here is, of course, to remove the plugs, roots, and all. Some of these are a little bit difficult to get out. They get rooted down into the plastic, and you may or may not be able to salvage the plastic thing. Sometimes we just cut them up, but and these are well-rooted plants. They've got right down into the cracks in the planter. Good root systems. That's good. These guys will do real well. Don't look like we salvaged that very good. Yeah, this one's so well rooted that probably better to just cut it up, but sometimes you can save them, sometimes you can't. Alright, so once you get all the dirt out, and I do salvage all the dirt because we're going to use that to plant our seedlings later, and we'll cover that in another video. But that good rich soil, that's your friend when it comes time to plant your seedlings. So you take your plug and over your bucket, just kind of massage the root system a little bit, loosen up that soil. Be gentle, but you don't have to worry too much. What you're trying to do is, of course, not break off the roots, but just kind of get a certain amount of soil out. Leave some in there because you'll hurt the plant if you go too hard with the roots. But just take it, put it in your bucket, and just kind of swish it around a little bit. You just need to get most of the dirt off. You don't have to worry about getting it all out, but you end up with a pretty nice little plug. And then I just drop it in this bucket of nutrient-rich water and let it sit until I get them all done. So we're going to do that for all these plants, and we'll do one more, then we can pause the video and pick it up on the next step. Just kind of rinse them out. Good to go. Just like that. Now let's go over and put these into our baskets and insert them into the towers. Okay, so now that we've got the dirt removed from the roots of our romaines, or whatever plants you happen to be planting, this is what it looks like. We're going to get these things planted into our baskets, and there's a kind of a little bit of a technique here. So you get your grow basket, and I work over another basket. You want to just toss a few rocks in the bottom, basically about like that, to get you a head start, give the root something to lay on top of. Then go ahead and grab your seedling, grab your plant, and you want to get those roots right down into the bottom. Just shove that thing all the way to the bottom of the rocks. Kind of try to keep it about as centered as you can, and just hold it with your thumb. While you're holding it in place, you just grab a few more rocks, and then you kind of center the plant up and just sprinkle rocks around it. And then I like to take them and kind of pack them in there just a little bit, wedge them in there slightly, and that got a little dead spot here. That will go really nicely in the tower. The roots will make their way right through the bottom. The water, as it sprinkles on the rocks, will wick into the roots, and that's all you really need to do. Do another one here. Just a few rocks. You want to make sure that you got room to try to get that right into the center if you can. Grab your plant. If you've got real long roots, what you can do is just kind of wind them up, and sometimes you'll have a pretty good root system. We planted some strawberries a few weeks ago, and those things had 5-inch root systems on them. So you just got to pack the roots down in the bottom, because they'll head towards the water. And just throw a few rocks in, tip the plant up, and try to keep it pretty much centered if you can. Pack them in there a little bit. Good to go. So you can plant actually quite a few plants pretty quickly this way. And if they're little tiny seedlings that you've planted, you might not be able to go all the way to the bottom of the basket, but try to get as close to the bottom as you can, because that's where the water is coming down your towers if you're using one of our tower systems. So again, these roots will head towards the water, and they'll find it best they can. Beautiful thing about aquaponic systems is that because you're delivering nutrition right to the root of the plant, sometimes you don't even end up with they don't have to go very far. They don't have to put down as many roots to get what they need. So even though sometimes you'll have some pretty amazingly large root systems for plants, we pulled out a Napa cabbage last night, and I was surprised by the minimal amount of roots that were actually there. The thing was a full-grown plant, massive, probably 2-pound, maybe 3-pound Napa cabbage, and when I pulled it out, there was a little bit of root system that stuck in the tower, but it really only had a small amount of roots coming out of the bottom of the basket. And the reason why, it was right underneath the nozzle, and the nutrition was being delivered directly to the structure of the plant, or right to the roots of the plant, and so it didn't have to work very hard at all. But here's this one right here is a perfectly good leaf, but it's not going to grow once you snap them off. So you got to be careful that you don't snap too many of those off, but they'll kind of droop around a little bit even after a little season of time. You could even eat that if you want to. They'll firm up, and once they kind of get adapted to their new environment, they might kind of look like they've been shocked for an hour or two. Usually not longer than that, but as long as they start getting water right away, you'd be surprised just that they don't even miss a beat. They just stand right up, and they're happy as could be. So even though it looks like we've been kind of rough on them with all this abuse and tearing them out of the ground, once they're in their new environment, they're quite happy. These rocks that we're using are expanded clay, and this is kind of the expensive stuff. You can also use a number of different medium. You can grow in anything that's porous and has a neutral pH, but I like using these for the towers and for the tops of my grow beds. We do have expanded slate down in the base of our beds, and you could also use that. Some people use lava rock. I find that to be a little tough on the hands, and so I went the extra expense and and bought a considerable amount of this red stuff, expanded clay, and I like it real well, and so do the plants. So, and the bacteria that serves as your filter for your fish. So it's still just an incredible thing to me that you can grow the size of plants you can grow with these little tiny 3-inch grow cups, and delivering nutrient-rich fish water right directly to the roots of the plant, and watch it just thrive and expand. And you've seen some videos of what we're growing in our system. And we're really just getting started, even though we've been at this for a few years, a couple years now. This is a learning experience for all of us. I'm going to pull that one off because that's just kind of a waste of time. All right, so that's it. All we got to do is literally take these things and just drop them right into our towers, and they'll grow really nice in there. You can actually see the water running right down the tower. This is at the very bottom. You see that water splashing in there. It's going to splash into those rocks, and these things are going to grow into gigantic bushes of yummy lettuce. So that's how you plant your seedlings from dirt to rocks, and put them in the towers. If you were going to plant a plant into your grow beds, its process is the same thing, and we'll maybe do one of those videos before we finish shooting today. So thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful. Let us know if you got any questions. We're always happy to help you. Take care. God bless.